What do you think in your marriage was the hardest part about having kids?
How does it strain or challenge the marriage?
Yeah.
It's that you're both doing something that you don't necessarily completely know how to do until you've done it once or twice. And then you're like, oh, I know this parenting thing, but that takes years.
Yeah.
And so we're both doing it for the first time and trying to make good decisions based on the common values, etc. Right. But we're still like, you're still not sure. And so there'd be times where it strains the marriage because we kind of disagree. And so how do you deal with the kid who needs this support or is asking for something? Or how do you get on the same page? Not just about like, can they have dessert? It's the bigger things. And I think.
And can they have dessert?
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think some of the strain related to kids would have been becoming finding a way to parent together. And even when you don't know if it's the right choice that you're making or you're being guided by your spouse to make a choice and you don't agree with it, how do you not carry that frustration over into the marriage? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right on some level. I think if you don't agree initially, like when you're about to co-parent, in the heat of the moment, it's really tricky to present as a united front because you need to present as a united front to the kid. Right. But you're like in the background, you're like making faces at each other going like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like hopefully like the kid's not noticing or whatever. That is definitely a challenge. I think that's more of a challenge now that they're older than it was when they were younger. I feel like younger, we were more easily on the same page in terms of parenting.
I have to agree with everything you said, both of you, because that is where it strains the marriage, is when you are not on the same page, but you either have to get on the same page, or sometimes for me, I can't get on the same page. Like I can't, now you've crossed over into my value system problem and I can't get on that page. Getting on that page is now, in my point of view, lying to my kid about who I am. And I can't do that. Like I have to find some way to justify or qualify why I'm on the same page as him against my will. Then that causes problems because we have very different parenting experiences from our own parents. Neither of them perfect, or none of the three of them perfect. And we bring all that into the mix, mistakes and triumphs that our family have had, and they're very different. My parenting, what I received from parenting was drastically different than Bert. And I can say they were both flawed. Very flawed, as you would probably say about your parents.
Yes.
But that, I agree with you. That's the biggest strain on the marriage. That, and after I had kids, I don't know if this is true for you. I think we maybe talked about this before. My libido and sex drive totally changed because of many things. I think I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I felt like a completely different body. I didn't recognize myself from the, neck down half the time. And I was uncomfortable with that. And I was freaking exhausted because my husband was gone 5 days a week. And that's an intense parenting and you're so tired. And Bert has always had this huge sex drive. And I think that caused us problems a long time ago because we couldn't get on the same page with that. And at a certain point, I would try to rev it up, baby. But I'm like, I revved it up 2 nights ago, dude. I can't rev it up again. I'm so tired. And there's no acceptance of, oh, she's so tired. We only got these 2 nights I'm home. So we got to, that was hard in the beginning, like when our kids were younger. Now that I've gotten more consistent sleep and I'm not when you have a 1 and a 3-year-old,
the sleep
you're
thing is
I didn't know which end was up.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even home. So that caused a lot of tension, a lot of problems in our earlier marriage.
Yeah.
It was because we were just on completely different pages sexually.
Yeah.
And for him, sex means a lot. I mean, it's a Scorpio. For me, at that point in time, I was like, if I never have it again, it'll be too fucking soon. I just want to sleep, and I'd like someone to rub my back without any collateral. I just rub my back. That's all I wanted.
Back rub, no expectations.
No expectations.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
let me fall asleep
Yeah.
while you're doing it. That's it. So that was a hard thing. And I'm sure he and I've talked about that a lot when our kids probably were 4th and 5th grade, because we'd had several years where everything had kind of calmed down and emotions kind of calmed down. And he was like, I bet you that's why men cheat. It's because they don't think that time's ever going to end.
Mhm.
They think this is it forever. And it wasn't it forever, but it definitely changed permanently compared
To what it
to
was.
when we were dating and real hot for each other,
Yeah.
you know. And we didn't date long enough. We dated for a year and a half, and we were still pretty hot for each other, and then got married, and then immediately had kids. So we didn't have that like cooling down period between the two.
Right.
So he's used to this like hot mama, and then nothing for 6 weeks, you know, after you
Right.
have a baby, and then not a lot after that, because I was just
and
shot.
then baby number 2 pops out.
And it starts
The
all over
beginning is
again.
really hard.
Yes,
I think
it
that
is.
strains any marriage for a number of reasons. The
Mhm.
sleep, the sex, the just the constant need to provide for someone else, you
Mhm.
know, and he definitely came in 2nd, 3rd, whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the babies come first.
They have to.
and He's working all the time. And yeah, it's definitely a huge challenge for any marriage at the beginning with kids, I think.
I think so too.
Anyway, but
That's so much more like personal and so it's more of an internal factor maybe for like between the marriage. It's sex, love, commitment, values. That's as opposed to the how do we parent this external thing on the
Yeah.
same page,
Yeah.
or how do we deal with our finances, an external thing on
Yeah.
we deal with that without it. So we're going to be stressed about finances, stressed about the house, stressed about our parents, your parents, stressed about these kids and their schools, and not stressed, but challenged.
Yeah.
There are challenges that come along. And those are all external factors beating against the marriage.
Mhm.
And then you've got sex and other things like that are internal to the relationship
Mhm.
that really can make it explode. I
Mhm.
think to some degree, we've been pretty good at keeping the external factors
Mhm.
from like really pushing on us,
Right.
whether it's financial or children or what have you, and just had to be resilient together about the
Mhm.
things that didn't go our way.
Right.
But the internal things that really kind of I think that really are a danger to any marriage. Sex is a perfect one, because
Yeah.
without that connection, like that's the only person in the world you're going to have that connection to
Yeah.
forever,
For the rest of your life.
for the
yeah.
rest of your life.
Yeah.
And this is the person you're going to love
Yeah.
and sleep next to and grow old with and all of those things.
Mhm.
And when one of those things goes away,
Mhm.
you're like, well, hold on. Now,
What is the meaning of this?
right.